This is 2010, and welcome to our 22nd annual family Christmas letter. If you're wondering who that singing was, that was the lovely Devon. We dragged her down here to the basement, and she helped us out with recording this lovely Christmas music. So what's happened to me this year? Actually, not a whole lot. I started out the year working my usual 50 hours a week, or at least I was supposed to be working 50 hours a week. And partly through the year, I began to wonder, why am I doing this? So I went through some banking statistics and through a whole bunch of financial analysis, and I discovered that I'm really working for $500 a month. So, in my usual style, one day, I sent off a one-liner to my boss, and it basically said, I quit. It was actually a little nicer than that. It says, I am retiring as of July the 1st. Now, he sat on it for a couple of weeks, and he was wondering whether I'd changed my mind. A couple of weeks later, he asked me about it. I said, what do you mean? Haven't you done anything about this yet? No, I'm gone as of July the 1st. And so that's exactly what happened. Do I regret it? No. It's been absolutely wonderful. Has the adjustment been difficult? Not really. I like the idea of waking up in the morning and not having to do anything. Now, do I sleep in? Not really. A little bit, maybe half an hour more than I used to, but that's really all there is to it. Am I doing anything useful? No, not yet, but I will be. One of the things that I'm looking at doing is maybe starting up a little bit of contracting, maybe doing some accessibility testing, or depending on what Sam does, maybe I can work with Sam a little bit. But if it doesn't work out, that's okay too. We're having a good life. We don't have a lot of money, but we have enough if we don't do anything foolish that we'll really see the rest of our days through. Mind you, it would be nice to have a little bit more, but that's all right. We're doing well. So what do I do with my time? Well, I play computer games. We're looking at helping a guy out starting up a record company. So that's really all that I've done this year. Other than we had a lovely time in Hearst over the summer. We did quite a bit of camping for the first 3 months of my retirement, but now we're starting to look at the future and see what the future will bring. And I'll let you know next year if I end up doing anything at all. I'm sure I will. And I hope that you have a very Merry Christmas and that the new year will be as good to you as I'm sure it will be to us.
Every year I go over last year's letter and think, how can we beat that? Last year there were such neat things to talk about. Of course, it would be easy to talk about other people's stories. My life, after all, is wrapped up in other people's lives. They're far more exciting. Not that my life isn't exciting to me. I'm still involved in all the same things at our church, the Lenten devotional, visitation, card ministry, clubhouse, helping at Alpha, etc., and my usual pastimes, fixing tons of pictures, thanks to Dad's volume scanning, using iMovie for family videos, working on puzzles sometimes, watching old TV shows. Oh, and I do play the odd game on Facebook, but only for a few minutes in the evening. And of course I love reading fiction, if it's well written. One of my favorite series is the Mitford Chronicles by Jan Karon, about an Episcopalian priest in a small mountain town parish. Well, one thing that is quite different this year has to do with laundry. Isn't that exciting? Actually, it's confusing, doing laundry on Saturdays. But we're into it because of the new time-of-use hydro rates. Clubhouse is quite different from year to year. This year, my co-coordinator, wonderful Sarah Schuhart, supermom of 3 girls, has taken over not only leaders' meetings, but the bulletin board and openings. So, after the usual busyness of registration in the fall, I've been left to enjoy leading my girls, aka Trailblazers, now 7 of them in grade 5-6. A fantastic bunch. Yes, I do have another adult helper for them. I'm looking forward to decorating a tree with them this week, an upside-down tomato cage wrapped in the grapevine weed we pulled out of our backyard this fall. You know, this may have been said in another letter. If you don't do something regularly with children, you should. It's much easier and looks better to act like a kid if you can pretend that it's required.
Well, while some people were lucky enough to have a year that stayed relatively the same, my year was a year of changes, some depressing and some more positive. On the bad news note first, I've continued to struggle with some medical issues this year, and thanks to various circumstances beyond our control, I've decided that continuing at Ryerson is no longer the best option. Thanks to the ever-changing circumstances in the profession of journalism, i.e. the newspaper industry could well be non-existent in the next 10 years, I decided that a degree in journalism wasn't the thing for me. Unfortunately, when I tried to transfer out of journalism into another degree, it turned out that only 2 of my credits were eligible to be transferred into another program. So I decided that spending another 6 to 8 years in university in order to get a degree just wasn't for me at the moment. I have some excellent prospects for getting jobs, anything from doing accessibility contracting on my own to steady work at somewhere like a bank, that I decided I would be better off to get some experience in the workforce, and then, possibly, do education part-time later on if I feel that I need it for things like promotion. On a more positive note, I really am getting excited about job applications and about getting experience in the workforce and about doing something new. I feel like I've been in school for my entire life, and when I haven't been in school, I've been struggling with medical issues. But now I finally get the opportunity to try something different. And even though I didn't complete my full program at Ryerson, I still learned a lot of useful skills about talking to people, about public speaking, about interviewing, about writing for differing audiences. You know, even though it might feel like I've spent a bunch of time and money on something that may not have turned out to be the most useful thing, that's not actually true. Because it's not necessarily about the destination. It's about the journey.